Good morning. It opened up. It opened up. It opened. I was just praying, and it just opened. It opened. It is Monday, and we're resting. So you're catching us resting because that's what we're doing. And I know people are like, I missed the room. I missed the room. I missed the room. And yes, the room was open. And so as people log on, I'm going to let a few people log on so I can basically tell you what happened this morning. And so Joseph, God bless you. How you doing? Colleen, God bless you. Anthony, how are you? Kelly, God bless you. Nikisha, how you doing, sweetheart? God bless you. Doris, God bless you. How are you all? Jamila, Morris, God bless you. How you doing? Alicia Carr, good to see you. God bless you. Nicole Hudson, how are you? God bless you. Good morning. Nikisha Johnson again. You went up twice. Terry, bless you. Yes, you missed it. God bless you. Patricia Freeman, God bless you. How you doing? Mary O'Neill, it's good to see you. Good morning. Denisha Jackson, it's good to see you. God bless you. Tasha Lady T, Tidwell, God bless you. Erica Anderson, God bless you all. Jacqueline Thompson, great morning to you. Shelly Ann Dixon, I saw you trying to get inside of the room. Alicia, God bless you all. And so I'm sitting here, I'm talking to my husband, Satria Allen, it's good to see you. There's your boy, Corey Page. Say good morning. Corey? God bless you. Keisha L. Hunter, it's such an honor to see you. And so people are saying, did I miss the room? Look at Deliria going up the timeline. Michelle, God bless you. Michelle. You great woman of God. Stacy Martin, God bless you. Shaquana. And so people are trying to log in for the room, and there are people who are crying because they got a chance to go inside of the room. And God moved mightily. My Lord, people are crying. God bless you. Tangela, it's good to see you. God bless you. Jaleesa, God bless you. Michelle, Dewana Polk, God bless you. Vet Simpson. So, Hosea, good morning. There are people who are crying. Tisha T Lady, if you guys got a chance to go inside of the prayer room this morning, just symbolically give tears, because that's what happened. I was praying this morning, and I was talking to my husband, and as I was praying, I began to thank God for his protecting power. And as I began to say, God, I thank you for your protecting power, the Lord sprung me up out of my knees, and he said, go to a prayer room. And so for me, I just pray as I normally do. And he said, no. He said, there is a word for certain people. And I said, okay, God, well, I won't be preaching again till, New Year's. And okay, there's no Bible study. And the Lord said, go inside of the prayer room in Facebook. And I said, I've never done that before. He said, I'm going to open up a window because I have to speak to someone. And I said, okay, Lord. And so what happened is, it's like a realm opened up. A realm literally opened up in our house. And those that don't believe, I'm sorry you don't, but for those that do, this realm opened up this morning. It was about 7:34, 7:35, or almost to 8. And so when I opened up this room, I just closed my eyes and I began to pray, and I just said, prayer room. And the prayer room began to open up. And as the prayer room began to open up, there were people that I didn't know that the faces, because I've never done a prayer. I never did anything called a room on Facebook. And so as the faces begin to come up on the timeline, the Lord says, I want to speak to them. And there were some people that had their phones off because I've never done it before. But there were people who had their faces, and the Lord began to speak to them. But prophetically, they received what thus said the Lord. But there was a word specifically for the people that were logging in. And the Lord began to show me a big ox. It was an ox. It was huge. It was so huge. This ox was huge. His horns were so big. And the horns were so big, but the yoke was so small. And I said to the Lord, I says, how in the world did this big ox get yoked with this small yoke around his neck? And the Lord said, because there's so many people that got into stuff and don't even know how they got in. And so I began to prophetically speak to a few young ladies who I was able to see their face, and the power of God moved in the prayer room. It was powerful. And so the Lord began to speak to me concerning the people that were on the prayer room. And God said that he wants me to do it again just to prophetically speak into people's lives. But the word that he gave me for the rest of the individuals, as I scrolled up, he said that he is getting ready to move concerning yokes. The yokes that he was referring to is you got yourself caught in something that you don't know how you got this way. You don't know how you got this much debt. You don't know how your health turned this way. You don't know how you got into this relationship. You don't know how you allowed your children to get here. It's like, what the yoke symbolizes is I'm bound in something that I don't know how I got here. And the Lord said that what he is going to do, he said, I shall shatter the yoke asunder. That means the way he's going to break the yokes, you're not going to be bothered by the brokenness. It simply means you're not, someone said, I'm tired, I logged on, I couldn't get into the room on time. Nikisha Page, understand, let me help you. You don't know how you got caught up in some things, but God knows exactly how you got caught up in it, and he knows exactly how he's going to free you from it. And so the problem with the yoke is you get involved because the yoke has to get itself tied around your neck. These oxen that the Lord showed me with these big old antlers and horns is because there's got to be a way for the yoke to get around the neck of the ox. That means in order to noose you, it's got to be someone you trusted. In order to be noosed, it has to be someone that you are familiar with to get close enough to you to yoke you up into something that you did not even see coming. Watch this. And so when the Lord began to show me this yoke, it was like you had to have them close enough to you to trust you. And they got in through your mind and your heart. And so, okay, Hosea said, say that. It means that they got close enough to you because you trusted them. Close enough to you because it's like you had to know them enough to be in your space. And watch this. Sometimes, and the Lord began to speak to me, there was a young lady to my left, her name was Vanessa. The Lord said to tell her there was a small child about 14, 15, 16, not quite an adult, but this person, it's the Lord over her head. It said daughter. It was like she was a daughter. She was someone close. And now the Lord showed me that she's caught up in something and she doesn't even know what to do because that person is small. It's a child. And the Lord began to speak to me. Some of your children, the reason why you're caught up in something is because you don't want to handle it because they're your children. And God said, watch this. Watch this. I got to release the yoke of childhood around your neck. What am I saying? I'm not saying for you to throw out a young child. I'm saying whatever hold they got on you that has you surrounded by stuff that you don't even know how you got into. You don't know how your peace got disrupted. You don't know what happened to your health. You don't know what you're finding. You don't know. I just don't know. God said, that's the yoke that I've got to deal with. It was like a realm in that room. It was a portal that opened up. And it was powerful. And the Lord said, and there was a young lady, she was below, she had a lanyards around her neck. And God said, she's sitting in the car and she's thinking about when she goes home, how is she going to say? And the Lord began to speak to her. And that child she just broke and she started crying. And the Lord began to let me see these people's faces in the room as they were going up the timeline. And the Lord said, now speak to them. There were hundreds of them, and I can't speak to hundreds of them. But the prophetic word that God gave me is I've got to deal with the oxen and the yoke. I've got to deal with the oxen and I've got to deal with the yoke. That means everything. Someone said, okay, now here we go. Someone says, I got into a relationship and I don't know how it ended up like this, being with this person. Yep, you should have been on that line, Mr. Jordan, because there is where God began to speak. God bless you. He began to speak. He said, I don't know how you got into. See, the yoke that God is showing me and in the prayer room, it was for people who don't know how they got there. I don't know how I got in this. I don't know where I was mentally. I don't know how I got this big. I don't know how I got this small. I don't know how my health deteriorated like this. I don't know. Something happened for me to get here. Something happened to make me get here, and I don't know. And so now it's got you like this. Like you can't breathe. You can't breathe. I don't know. I don't know. That prayer room, Shelly Ann Dixon, was powerful. A realm opened up and it hit the people. And as I began to log off and go up and down to try to see how to log off, they was just crying. And they were like, this is for me. And God said to tell the people today, I shall break the yokes asunder. That means you're not going to even care it's gone because you're not going to even see it leave. Yeah. You're not going to care that it's gone because you're not going to even see it leave. It's going to happen. And when it breaks, you're not going to even care because what happened is you got involved in a place and in a position and in a thing because your heart lets you get involved. It's your mind lets you get involved. You thought you were doing a good thing, but God says, no, what you did is you thought you was doing a good thing for a season, but it's yoking you for a lifetime. And God said, wake up and tell them I'm dealing with the yoke. It's listen, and in the prayer room today, the Lord began to tell me about an uneven yoke. An uneven yoke creates an uneven balance in your life. And the abomination is because you're not, watch this, not just balance, you're yoked with something that has you in a place that's so disrespectful unto the will of God for your life until, watch this, the yoke in the ox's job is to design a harvest to help you grow and go where you gotta go. And so because you're yoked, yes, God. He even spoke to me. He said, people believe and say that the unequally yoked in a relationship is what it is. But God said, that's not all it is. You could be, watch this, you could be yoked with someone and it's so unhealthy until you're not evenly or not even thinking about not just your friendships, your family, anything pertaining, getting you to a straight path that has you getting off of your path that God has ordained. You are unequally yoked. They're unequally yoked friendships, unequally yoked family members, unequally yoked. You can be so unequally yoked. An unequal yoke never produces a positive, healthy harvest. Someone said, release the yoke from me and my kids. You can have an unhealthy relationship with your children. You can have an unhealthy relationship with your mother, your father, an unhealthy relationship. It's unhealthy. It's an unhealthy balance that creates a yoke that God says I'm not pleased with. And that's what's wrong with a lot of people. You got to look at the relationships around you. Look at where you are. Father, release the yoke from me and my children. You could have grown children. You could even have an unequal yoke with a small child. And this is what the prayer room was about. It was powerful. And you could have an unhealthy, and you could, it's an unhealthy, it's more than just an unhealthy relationships. It is a yoke. That means you won't do anything because of the guilt that got you tied. A guilt that has you tied. Anything that is guilt related is a yoke. Because it won't let you leave. It won't let you go. It means that some of you got debt. And your debt is unhealthy because it means that the debt around you is the yoke around you is debt. It is. Everything that has you I can't breathe. Watch this. Anytime you have an oxen with a yoke around its neck, if he goes the opposite way, something happens to his air supply. He goes, and you can't breathe. So what happens is you're trying to release yourself for something that got you tied and you're overwhelmed. You can't breathe. I don't care about y'all's kids. That prayer room, everybody was crying. And God said, don't you care about their tears? It's for me to dry. And God says, don't even care about their tears. It's for me to dry. You just speak. And I had to speak. And some of your grief is your yoke. That means you're grieving so much until you can't see your forest for your street. And you try, I can't breathe without, I can't live without. And God says, that's the yoke I got to deal with. That yoke is a yoke. The yokes of bondage. A yoke can bound you. And some of you, God says, your yoke right now, some of you got yoked with bad decisions. Your bad decisions, that's your yoke. It's like, this is what it is. Your bad decision is your yoke. This is the yoke right here. This yoke, the yoke. I'm going to just use this as an example. Husband, put your arms around my neck, please. Watch this. And so, this is what a yoke does. A yoke does this. See, my husband got me in a yoke. A good yoke, I might say. My husband has me in a yoke. This is a yoke. And so if I try to pull away from Fred, I know you don't want to hurt me, sweetie, but would you do it for me just one time? Okay. If I try to get away from my husband, he don't want to apply pressure.
Okay, I'll do it.
Okay. I know you don't want to, but I'm trying to help the people. Okay. So he's only going to do this for this sake. We don't have an abusive marriage. We have a healthy marriage. But watch this. When a yoke is around your neck and I try to move, you see what happens to the way I speak? The way I speak, I can't speak because there's a yoke around my esophagus. The yoke's job is to cut off your healthy flow of not just breathing, moving, executing, doing the will of God. And the reason why I can't move is because my husband has me in a yoke. That's what's happening to you. Something won't allow you to move because of the yoke. Some of you are in bad relationships, and that is the yoke. Some of you right now, God says, I got to deal with the yoke. I got to deal with the yoke. He said, I have to break the yoke. You have a new year in less than what? Less than 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. Less than 2 weeks. Yes, we're having church on Christmas. Yes, we are. You eat, we're going to be in church. What day is that? The 26th. 26th. Yeah, we'll be in service. And God says, before I let it kill you, I release you from it. Some of you are in bad relationships. And God said, that's an unhealthy yoke. You can't move. Some of you can't breathe because you are yoked by so many things. Some of you are yoked by your past. You yoked. And God said, that's what I got to deal with. And this is what was going on in the prayer room. People's faces were going up the timeline. And the Lord said, speak to her, speak to her. The other ones that had their phone cut off, I could not see. I couldn't see. But God said, everybody that got their phones off, tell them about the yokes. I got to get. And God says, you're not going to even care. You're not going to even care. You're not going to even care. Rolanda Amaka, we're praying for your son. Don't worry, all shall be well. And God said, people don't understand. You are bound by bad life choices because of yokes. You don't even know how it happened. I don't even know how I got this. Some of you say, I don't even know. I never used to be like this. I never used to be like this. It's like whenever you yoked by something, you could be yoked by bitterness. You could be yoked by anger. You could be yoked by disappointment. You could be yoked by love, the wrong love. You want to be yoked with the right one because this is the right one. You could be yoked by your own decision. You could be yoked by your family. Yoked, whatever it is that does not have you. Watch this. That does not have you living life according to Christ is a yoke. You could be yoked by disobedience. You could be yoked by poverty. You could be yoked, whatever it is that does not have you moving forward in life. God said it's a yoke, and I got to deal with it. You're not going to even care. That means when God releases you from it, you're going to know you've been released because you're going to go, ah. You see how my husband, when he let go of my neck, he had me in the yoke and he released me. It was a demonstration we was doing. Someone said I'm in the vein. I know the vein in which I speak. You're going to go, ah. I was able to breathe when Fred released me from the yoke. From the yoke. See, it's a difference between being in a soul ties or tied up with something. Anytime you tied up with something, it means that you can eventually untie the knot. Yokes are not designed for you to take off. They have to be released. Anything that is a knot, you have the ability to free yourself by not being entangled with it or untangling the knot. So your hands are free. Watch this. Your hands are free because your hands will do what it has to do to untie the knot, right? So be not. So the Bible says, be not entangled into the yokes of bondage. And so the yokes of bondage means it bounds you in a way that you can't get free by yourself. Because anytime you have an oxen with a yoke, he doesn't have the ability to unlatch itself. See, entanglement is an untie. A yoke has to break. That's the difference. And you guys have been yoked by something that you cannot break. And the reason why you can't break it is because most things that have to be broken are bad habits. Most things that have to be broken, they're tied to your heart and your mind at the same time. See, a soul tie is, okay, you just attach to something that you customize your soul to crave. You crave it. You crave. Some people are craving bad relationships. You craving the abuse. You like it when they yell, scream, slam stuff. You don't even know how to operate in a house of peace. It's boring to you. You only want to be into something if somebody is grabbing you by the neck. Your sex life is brutal. My phone is just ringing off the hook. Yeah, your sex life is brutal. You ain't happy in a bedroom unless he choking you and you choking her and you scratching and screaming and clawing each other. Some of you don't even know how to love each other because your sex life ain't even good unless y'all fighting. Okay, now they want to cry, Fred. Oh, I know the vein in which I speak. I know what God is showing me. Some of your marriages, you don't even know how to make love. All y'all know how to do is fight. You don't even want to get in a relationship if it's peaceful. It's boring to you. And God says, I got to free you from that behavior because it's toxic. Some of you don't even know what to do. If you're a woman on here and God gave you a nice, peaceful man, you wouldn't know how to receive him because that's boring to you. Some of you you get excited. Some of you men, you get excited when you get a woman fighting. You like to fight. See, that's bondage. That's demonic. I don't care about none of your tears because God said, this is what I've got to pray for. Pastor, please pray for me. I need it. I'm trying. Margaret Lewis, it's a yoke that has to break from you. Some of you keep finding yourself going back to stuff. You know your mother don't love you. You know your father don't like you. Whatever it is, and it's related to a family member, but I want them to love me. I want them to love me. I just want them to say, I'm proud of you. You just want them. You're never going to get it. So you become addicted to toxic behavior, and it is a yoke. And the yoke has to be identified so God can break it. He said, I am going to identify the very thing that has you keep going back to toxic. And God said, it is a yoke around your neck, and yokes have to break. And God said, 2,000 people on the sound of my voice, I'm about to break it. You got to be free. I got to be free. Do you know you can have an unhealthy relationship with your children? And they know it. It's unhealthy. It's unhealthy. And some of you are bound by the guilt. Some of you are overcompensating. Your yoke is overcompensating because the lack thereof of another parent. So you become overcompensating. And when you overcompensate something, you give more than what you should and you deplete it till you ain't no good. And God said, that's a yoke that's on your neck. Some of your children are making you feel bad because another parent is not there. Some of your family just making you feel bad. Never feel bad, even you. Never feel bad about a blessing God gave you. No, don't let that yoke tell you that you don't deserve it. The devil is a dignified lie. You deserve everything and then some. I am Pastor Jameliah Gooden, and this is my husband, Senior Pastor of Unity. This is Apostle Fred D. Gooden, and our marriage is ordained by God. I am a prophet. He is an apostle. We move by the unction of the Holy Spirit. And God said to wake up and tell you, I'm getting ready to deal with this yoke. You ain't going to even care. When that yoke break, you going to breathe easy. You're going to go, so what? And that yoke will speak back to you and say, oh, so you don't care? No, I don't. And then when they start to try to manipulate you and tell you what they ain't got and what they got in debt and make you feel guilt, God said, release them, because when I release the yoke, the guilt gonna go. You're not gonna even care. And okay. Oh, it's getting ready to happen today. It's gonna happen today. God says, you gonna wipe your feet, dust from your feet, and you ain't gonna move on. You gonna run, because you're gonna feel just a little bit of freedom. And God said freedom has to come, because the revelation knowledge of bondage has to break. And when that revelation of bondage break, you're going to get free. You're going to run. You ain't going to wipe the dust on your feet. You going to run. Some of the bondage is alcoholism. Some of the bondages is opioids and heroin and cocaine and anything that has you inebriated. Your mindset can't make sound decision because you're trying to be inebriated. And God said, no, I got to break the bondage of any addiction so you can see clearly. I was talking to my husband this week. Alcohol makes you strong. Watch this. Alcohol makes you strong. It makes you strong. But you know what wisdom does? Wisdom makes you make sound decisions. And you can't make a sound decision because you got, oh, Billy, you all strong and you all inebriated with alcohol, and now you want to talk to them. God said, no, reality got to speak. And God said, now that reality is going to speak, because you don't need alcohol no more. He said, now you're going to do what you got to do, because most people are numbing pain with alcohol and substance. And God says, that's bondage. I want to be loved. 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 God said that's bondage. Anytime you want something more than you want yourself, baby, it's bondage. And some of you, because you want to be loved so much, you go back to bondage and you'll get into something that's not good for you. And because you wanted to be loved so bad, you said, how did I get here? How did this yoke get around my neck? Because you want to be loved so bad. I don't care nothing about nobody's tears this morning. I am giving you what thus said the Lord. That yoke is going to break. Don't let guilt make you make a mistake, because some of that noose around your neck and some of that yoke is guilt. You a good mother. You a good father. You a good parent. And you just want your children to acknowledge that. They know they ain't going to tell you because they want you to keep working harder for them. And God said, that's a yoke right there. People pleasing is a yoke. People pleasing is a yoke. It's a yoke. I am Pastor Jameliah Gooden, and this is my husband, Apostle Fred D. Gooden III. And God said to tell you that yoke is going to break. Those that miss the room, I'm only going to do it when God tells me, because the Lord would allow me to see faces and prophetically speak. So the room is closed now. I love you, and God bless you. Until tomorrow.